Hi, my name is Ray Catull, and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebozy and Rod Adams Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us talking harness, handicapping harness, and most importantly, having fun with harness. Can we please get this stuff out of my face? Thank you! North American Harness Update, Fridays from 9 on SRN1. Also download Often Pacing, and using promo code NAHU200K, start your stable with an additional 200,000 coins. You can also catch show archives and racing analysis over at our website, NAHUPicks.com!
That time in the week, that time of the month, that time certainly is time for another edition of the NAHU Extra. James Vanderbeek here, joined by Mike Prebozy, Rod Adams Jr. to discuss racing action from Running Aces Casino and Racetrack for Tuesday, July 31st. This racing action in particular being a carryover in their Jackpot Pick 5. Now the Jackpot Pick 5, the gimmick here is you get the whole pool. If you're the one winning ticket, and if you're not the only winning ticket, you get a consolation prize, and the pool will continue to carry over. Now, Rod, I believe there's a large carryover going to Tuesday night.
Yes.
Okay, I was expecting a number to come after that, but yes is also a good value. And this sequence
it's 6,400. 6,400.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
$6,400, $13.29.
Well, with the 29 cents in there, it will just be booming this Tuesday night. Starting in the 7th race, a winner's over $5,000 lifetime handicap, which I don't know why they just don't make it an open handicap, because the 5,000, it's semantics. We got a field of 8 going postered here with an entry to the inside, including a horse, my Gold Star Misty, who outclasses this field both form-wise and class-wise. And I think you could single, but I'm curious if you do.
I do. Brutal trip in that Dan patch. Really, no chance from where she was. She raced, I thought, very well. We even talked about, we were there that night, talked about this horse after the race. I thought she raced very well from where she was. Gets second Lasix, draws the 2-hole here. I believe they really have to beat her. I see really not a lot of value trying to go against her. She's the class. She's, in the right spot, as far as post goes, gets that second Lasix. Just too many things to like. I would just key the 2 and move on.
Rod, would you do the same?
Yes, I'm keying the 2 also. I think she's as sharp as she could be right now. Very good race last time in that final. Just a bad trip, bad spot to begin with, but she should be firing to the lead from the 2-hole, and I don't see her getting beat.
Neither do I. This 8th race is the next leg of this Pick 5 sequence. A claiming handicap $4,000 to $6,000 the tags. We have a field of 7 going postered here. And again, I feel like what's interesting with this sequence in the middle legs are there some fairly obvious horses going postward, which then you can really not go too deep in some of these. Mike, this second leg, how you going pretty narrow?
Pretty deep for me. I'll start with the 3, a Bebe. No
it's
chance
a
last
Bebe.
time. I stepped up in class and faced some tough ones there. 2 back, 1 at this level. Getting a decent trip. This horse figures to get an okay trip here from this starting spot. I like Wiseman getting back on. This horse has 25 lifetime wins, so I'm okay with that one. The 4, Mighty Fine Hi Ho, won this condition on the 24th. Prior to that, was racing well at the level, has 7 wins this year, draws well, usually doesn't necessarily take money, almost is never the favorite, typically between 3 and 6 to 1 on most of these nights, but draws well again, is a closer, so might need a little bit of a setup, but I think definitely needs use on the ticket. And then the 6, Musician, was claimed 2 back, ended up with an outside post last time, stepping up and claiming price, ran in that same race that a lot of these others did, and raced okay, was outside the entire mile, ended up finishing 3rd. A little bit shorter field here, second time Longo this time, and this horse is always around it. I feel like needs to be used, especially with only 7 horses in the race, so 3, 4, 6.
Rod, I feel like you can slim this leg even further.
No, I'm actually using one more horse, and is actually my top pick in the race. The 1, Regina Beach, last time had no chance. Trainer drove the horse last time and just kind of sat there, didn't make a move. Expect much, much better out of this horse in this race. This is a class drop, slight class drop, and moves to the rail. I think J.D. Yoder is going to fire this horse as hard as he can go off the gate and try to sit up close. And this horse goes back to that start 3 back with that first over win. He probably wins this race. I'm also using the 3, Abebe. I think Mike said everything needs to be said about him. The 4, Mighty Fine Hi Ho. That was a big move last time to win that race, and that horse was my top pick in that race, and I don't know how he paid what he did, but he's in good form right now. I think he's a must play. And then the 6 Musician, he's been the most consistent horse of the bunch through the season here at Aces. Doesn't win a lot, but he's been right there just about every week. So 1, 3, 4, 6.
Regina Beach certainly making a class drop, seeing he's in the same condition as he was last week.
He's in for 4,000, not 5.
Too deep for me. Mighty Fine Hi Ho entering off a win and off the pace win to add on to that. Not only that, he's been racing consistently well at this class level in his last 6 starts. Finishing second 3 back, third 5 back, second 6 back, and is usually either forwardly placed or off the pace, the 2 places you could usually be in a race, and he finds a way to race well under both circumstances. So that versatility to me is a big plus for him and probably why he's going to be the favorite, and I don't really see much else aside from him. And the 6 Musician making his second start off the claim, as Mike was touching on. Brutal trip last time out from that outside post, parking the entire way to finish third still. Some horses would falter off an effort like that. He managed to stay up in contention to finish third there, then 3 starts back, 1 against weaker, beating some decent horses though at that weaker level, and then second, 2 starts back here to a Bebe, but went the way tougher trip than him. So I think Musician form-wise is much sharper than others in this race. So I'm going to be 4-6 in that second leg. This second leg of the pick 5, which would carry us then into the third leg, the 9th race. Bottom level pacing event, fillies and mares numbers of $850, their last 4 starts. And Mike, I had a hard time trying to find anything here.
Tough race. I'm 4 deep. The 5, Magnifique, looked like she was going to win last time and got picked off late by Awesome World, who set up a little bit better trip in there. They went slow early in that race, and this horse benefited from that. Still couldn't get the win. That bothered me. I'm using, but a little more defensively than some. The 6 raced in that same race and looked the winner at the top of the stretch, and then just couldn't keep on. Gets first-time Lasix now following that. And, this horse was 30-1 last time. I would expect this horse to be sub 5-1 this time. And if they're aggressive early, usually she comes from off of it. They go early again. I think that she has a good chance to win the race. The 8, Frisky's Angel. I liked this horse last time and kind of had a tough trip from an outside post. And, this horse raced twice last week, both with tough trips. July 17th, this horse came from off the pace to crush a similar bunch. So if this horse can get back to that from off the pace, I think she has a chance in the race. And then the 9, Nutmeg's Desire, was completely against it from the 9 hole on the 24th. Prior to that was first or second in the 4 starts prior. This horse always fits depending on trip. I would expect Wiseman to go early here, maybe try to get some early position and a better finish subsequently. So 5, 6, 8, 9.
Rod, like I said, tough race. As Mike said, also too, tough race. Do you find it to be a tough race?
A little bit. Like he said, the 5, Magnifique, I think you got to use defensively here. This mare looks a little bit better than most of these here and has a post advantage on her main competition. So for that reason, I throw her on. The 7, Fancy Little Girl, I use this horse. Terry Kaufman driving. 2 starts back he drove, finished third. Just went too fast on the lead and got caught late. If he can rate this horse a little bit better or even get a 2-hole trip here, I think she's got a big chance and should be a decent price as well. And then the 8, Frisky's Angel. I like this one. Got a brutal trip last time. I would just toss that race out. And, 2 starts back raced very well from dead last, and then the start prior ended up winning from way off the pace. So she's going to need some speed up front, but fits well if they go any kind of fractions up front. So 5, 7, 8.
I feel like using Magnifique in this race is also an offensive move, considering that she was the favorite last time out, and she was only caught at the wire by a length. So seemingly, she could go and wire them this time around, or just get that perfect trip and still race well, because she has a big class advantage on this field. She was in the open handicap 2 starts back and is now in the bottom level pacing ranks. She has to win this race this time around in order for any of that class to be legitimate to this point, and she's going to be a heavy favorite as a result. So I definitely use her for those reasons, but I also use Frisky's Angel. I don't necessarily toss that last race. That last race convinced me to use her. She made 2 moves from an outside post, parking to the quarter, then parking to 3/4 after retaking the lead moving into the final turn. But then she started to falter as a result, which you can totally excuse. And then look even further back in her lines. 3 starts ago when she sat that perfect trip, she came flying late, won by 3 lengths against this group. And that's the kind of form that is necessary in order to win here, because a lot of these horses can get that trip, but not necessarily capitalize off it. This one already showed that she can, and she could definitely work that out from that outside post. So I'm 5-8 in this 3rd leg. Now we're on to the 4th leg of this pick 5, second to last leg then as a result. Non-winners of 3 to 4 pacing event. We got a field of 8 going postward this time around. And again, Mike, I think there are 2 horses that this race goes around.
I'm 3 deep. The 1 Yankee Time missed a week last week, but prior to that was racing well at this level. I don't mind that race. Last time was stuck outside most of the way and still only was beaten 2 lengths. Kicked home 28-2. Anything remotely close to that race, I think puts him right in the mix. The 2 Johnny Be On Time. This horse, I like the race 2 back from the inside post. Sort of tripped out there, but ended up 3rd. Last time, wide trip, no shot. This horse gets a lot of shares, doesn't really like to win. It's 12 out of 27 in the money this year, but I like that Dean McGee gets on. This horse draws well, and, any sort of trip, and I think that this horse could be an interesting upsetter. And then the 5, Cause I'm Happy, 2 outside posts in a row. Prior to that, had the rail, 3 starts back and raced okay. This horse fits at this level. 4 wins this year, 7 wins out of 30 overall. And, James Yoder back on. This horse was 2-1 in this condition last time and really had no shot from that 7 hole. I feel like better tonight. So 1, 2, 5.
Rod, how about for you?
I'm pretty close. I'm throwing on the 4, Who's Dreaming. I like this horse's chances. She likes to leave and sit up close, get a trip, and when she does, without getting shuffled, she plays in basically every week in this class. So she did miss a week. I don't think that's a big factor here, but good post to be able to leave because there's not much speed inside of her off the gate. So she should be leaving and looking for a spot up close. And, again, the 1 I think is going to be firing. The 2 should be sitting a rail and looking to trip out here to try to grab a piece, and he's probably the long shot play of the race. And then the 5, Cause I'm Happy, I think bad post the last 2 starts and looks to be in a decent spot in this race. So I think you have to have him on your ticket. So 1, 2, 4, 5.
I've foreshadowed this race. He goes around 2 horses, and that's because I am, again, too deep. I don't see anything outside of Yankee Time or Cause I'm Happy. Yankee Time, again, drawing well, consistently racing well at this level, not against horses like Contemporary Legend, Forgive Us Our Sins, Buzz Light, MT Gunslinger. A lot of the really good horses that made this a tough condition are now absent, so a lot of the second-tier ones are going to be given a chance to potentially exit this rank, and Yankee Time is one of them. Cause I'm Happy, the other, who draws inside after that 7-post start last out. 3 starts back, put in a more aggressive mile, brushing to the lead, moving around the final turn, but then faltered. And then the start before that came on 27 and change to finish second, but again, has been in against those tougher horses on this circuit. And now with them not being here in this race, being filled mostly by others who have struggled at this level, I feel like either Yankee Time or Cause I'm Happy are going to be given their chance to thrive. So I'm 1-5 in that 4th leg. Now, I think the payoff leg is not only the payoff leg being the 5th leg, but this is the race that could make or break the sequence because it is a wide open race. I'm 5 deep in here. This is a non-winners of 3,700, their last 4 starts for Filly and Mare Pacers. And Mike, as I understand it too, you're going to go real deep to try and snag something.
5 deep the same. 3 Boom Boom Shaboom. This horse moves inside as typical closer. It's raced well at the open level this year. And, it just needs to trip out. His 9-1 morning line, I think, needs used. The 4, La Diva de Rosa, another one drops out of the open. One at this condition, 2 back off an outside trip, closing 28-3. Last time closing 27-3. This horse has won 5 times this year. Gets a new driver, but I think is interesting from off the pace. The 6, Totally Racy. Another one that is sharp at this level. Not quite up to the top ones, but, a horse that definitely has her place against these types. And, another one that could be a price, the 8, Swinging Again. They all almost look the same as, they can win at these lower condition levels, but then when they step up to the opens, but this horse raced well on July 24th, made up a fair amount of lengths late, kicking in 27-1 at 75-1. Should be a big price again, and, the trainer's 20%. I think that this horse has a chance, and then the 9, Better Lady. 3 consecutive open handicaps from inside spots. Got checks in those races. Has 7 wins this year. Could be ignored from that outside post. So 3, 4, 6, 8, 9.
Now, Rod, you've gone kind of chalky in some of the other legs. You got to try and be the only ticket, so I got to assume you're going with some long shots in this one.
Yeah, I'm not using any of the favorites here, and for good reason. This is a pretty wide open race, so I'll start with the 1, Placing First. Draws the rail again. Last week had to move first over and just got a little bit tired late. Definitely plays against these, and especially from the inside post. I think needs to be used here, and should be decent price once again. Well, last week went off the favorite, but I'm thinking closer to what morning line is. The 3, Boom Boom Shaboom, is an obvious use. Coming off a good race. Had to go wide. That's not really her type of trip. She likes to be up close. I think Brady Jensen fires off the gate and stays close throughout here. And if he gets his own way on the front end, I think she wins for fun here. The 6, Totally Racy. Another one. Can't really compete with the opens, but that race was off a 3-week layoff. And she does like to win, so this class seems to be her fit, and definitely plays here. Should be an okay price as well. And then the 8, Swinging Again, I think is a play. Just no chance last week from way back. Closed nicely. Fits in this race very well. And the only concern, obviously, is the post. I think he's got to fire off the gate in order to have a piece of it late. So 1, 3, 6, 8.
My problem with Boom Boom Shaboom in that last race was even though she had the outside post, she opted not to leave. And it's not like the pace was necessarily that hot to begin with. So I'm worried that she might be regressing coming into this race, unlike others who are racing either towards the top of their game or improving into this condition. So that said, I don't use Boom Boom Shaboom here. I definitely use Placing First. I love this horse coming in off of that beaten favorite race, dropping down to this level, rushed to the lead around the final turn, but of course was just caught at the end of that mile. She has won against better in the past. Looking back to June 12th against Numbers of 5,000, she had a win there off a perfect trip. And this time she's not going to be the favorite, but that shouldn't necessarily be neglected because the fact that she was the favorite last out against this group showed that she might, have some kind of potential to win against this bunch. And is going to be a much better price this time around, so I definitely think it's worth using. I used the 5, Place at the Beach, coming off that win against the 6,000 claimers, now moving up in the claiming tags, being offered for $12,000 this time around. But this mare, I think, is the one that could go and wire the field as opposed to Boom Boom Shaboom. This horse has been racing almost exclusively towards the front in her last 5 starts. And when she's given that chance, She certainly thrives, so I'm going to throw her on for that reason, although I'm kind of concerned, too, back when she was at this level. She really didn't perform as well, but it looked like she got locked at the rail, didn't really get much chance to race, and that's not necessarily her trip. I didn't see the layoff on Totally Racing, but that's definitely a reason to like her even more. 3 back, 1 against the level right below this, then 2 back was second against this group off a second over trip. I think what's dangerous about her is the fact that she's one of a few horses that can really kick home, considering a lot of the horses that race on the lead are coming home in like 29 or 28-4. This mare can come home in sub-28 almost every race. She's done it in her last 3 starts, and she could certainly continue to do it again and should also improve second start off that short break, as you mentioned. Sonalta Diamond, I'm surprised no one mentioned this one, though. She's been racing ultra consistently against the knowledge of 5 to 6 condition claimers, and those races are arguably somewhat towards this same level. You have horses like Mr. Ranger that race there, Crash and Burn, always a little more. Horses that usually exit conditions like this and perform well because they also somewhat belong. And Sonalta Diamond's another one that can race up towards the front and I think could work out a kind of trip to place her into contention even though she's moving up in class. And then Better Lady's the last one I use. She's another one that can really come flying home. She's performed well against the open handicap ranks. The one concern is the outside post, but in the past she's shown speed from the outside, so she could at the very least try and get some kind of stalking spot towards the center of the field early on and perhaps get dragged into contention that way and fly by late. So to recap, there was a lot of horses. I'm 1, 5, 6, 7, 9 in this last leg, which makes my pick 5 go as follows. For 20 cents, I'm singling the 2 with the 4, 6, with the 5, 8, with the 1, 5, with the 1, 5, 6, 7, 9. That's $8 for 20 cents. Mike, your ticket.
2 with 3, 4, 6, with 5, 6, 8, 9, with 1, 2, 5, with 3, 4, 6, 8, 9.
And Rod.
2 with 1, 3, 4, 6 with 5, 7, 8 with 1, 2, 4, 5 with 1, 3, 6, 8. It's $38.40.
And that said, these tickets will be available on our website, NAHUpicks.com, in case your wrists just weren't swift enough to write all those numbers down. That does it for another edition of the NAHU Extra. I have been Jean-Claude Van Dang, joined here by Mike Frebozy, Rod Allums Jr. We're going to be live from the Meadowlands Racetrack for the greatest afternoon in harness racing, Saturday, August 4th, the greatest day in harness racing, Hambletonian Day, starting at around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You're going to want to tune into that. You'll also want to go to NAHUpicks.com where you can find racing analysis for that day at the Meadowlands, as well as every race day from Woodbine Mohawk Park and Running Aces, which Rod